We are back. I think I pissed off Marilyn Phil this week.
No way.
Is that possible?
Yeah, I think I did. I don't mean any harm by the shit. It's sometimes like I think I'm not good at text message. Like I'm not great at the written word. I'm more effective when I can emote. When you know what I mean. When I'm not stricken to just these little colorful characters in order to like make my point. When I can enunciate a certain way and use inflections in my voice and so on and so forth. But I think I irritated him with a movie review of a movie that he was quite fond of. And I'll go ahead and give it just because it's topical. So I saw a movie, very popular movie, I believe, called, I think it's probably up for a number of awards, which fucking all checks out, I have but called Conclave. Ever heard of it?
I'm not.
Okay. So
is that the priest?
Yes.
Not priest, but Pope.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah. Some would say the ultimate priest.
Yeah.
Priest of
About
priests.
how they pick,
Priest of priests.
how they pick the next doofus.
Yes. Well, I think to be fair, I think this guy that's in there now is like kind of a good guy. He actually said something that I think it was like 60 Minutes on there when he took office, like for lack of a better term, that like actually kind of gave me the chills. Because they were asking him about
current Pope you're talking about.
Yeah.
The one that looks like Skeletor.
Yeah. Well, you can't win them
Young
all.
boys are the best, or
No. They asked him about like homosexuality and things like that.
that was close.
As they always do,
Yeah,
right?
they always do.
And the Pope said something along the lines of like, I think God loves everyone. And they were like, well, what about the Bible? And it says this and that in Leviticus and blah, blah, blah. Do you think that God has changed? And he was like, of course God has changed. And they were all like grasping for clutching their pearls, and he was like, God is in us and we change. So God changes. And I was like, all right, get this guy a fucking mic. Get this guy a beat and get this guy a mic.
I feel like that's against a lot of years of Catholic dogma.
Yeah, no doubt.
A lot of what they've been doing
hard.
seems to be like in recent years. I mean, I have my personal biases though, because I know it is a bias. Whenever I see anybody, I don't care who it is, in a position of that caliber, doesn't matter what position, whether it be presidency or CEO, whatever, like you can only be so good of a person to get there, in my opinion.
I just find it interesting.
Which means not that great.
Like I feel like the church has to change. Like it's
Is it dying yet?
well, I feel like it is
feels
dying.
like
Good.
it, but
like in first world countries at least.
Yeah, good.
Right. So they kind of have to change.
yeah,
That's interesting.
Well, the church has through time had to kind of evolve in order to bring in new people. Like even like the image of Christ, right? Like as
when they started
Jack Korean Jesus is my favorite Jesus.
They started using,
I always have to say it.
The Obi-Wan photo.
Oh yeah, Obi-Wan.
who is Caesar Borgia, the second son of Pope Alexander.
Sure.
He was brought in because Islam was fucking taking off like wildfire. Is that a right? It doesn't matter. And
I don't have fires over there.
I was using the term.
So,
but figuratively is how I was using the term, Joey. But one of the things was it was easy to understand. There was one God. That was the end of it. There wasn't like it's kind of like an ice cube that can melt or vaporize. It's like 3 in 1, but it's just one. It's still the same ice cube. But it wasn't like that. Very easy to kind of understand and digest. So the Catholic Church at the time was like, well, we need a face. We need a face for this dude, so that like people,
Face man.
so that people
and a
can
ripped
put
body.
well, easy. Well, sometimes.
Jack Korean Jesus. Jack Korean Jesus.
That's not the way I'm talking about, doofy. I'm talking about the fucking spear thing.
Oh, well.
But anyway, the church has had to evolve, right, to keep up with the changing of times. And I thought that was that was a bar that he said. I like that a lot. But I don't say that for any real reason. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit.
Yeah.
I say that to say this. This movie was solid.
Okay.
Very solid. I was on my way to delivering it a 7.8, but it could have ended up with a C+.
Yeah.
But it could have ended up being an A or a B depending on how they freaked the ending. Right? was how I was expecting it to go. So it's about one pope dies and they're trying to choose the next pope between all these cardinals and everything else. And they choose the next pope. And I was just like, oh, God, it's a hermaphrodite.
So it's not based on a true story.
No, it's based on a book.
Okay. Like Angels and Demons.
Yes, but also like in The Sopranos, when he's like, you finally decide to read a fucking book and it ends up being bullshit. And I'm just like, man, like, where did this come from? You know, like it just seemed so like shoehorned into something that had nothing to do with that. And then it sort of became this whole thing surrounding that for like the last 10 minutes.
So like the Crying Game. I mean, I'm just saying it kind of became a different movie after that.
It's fair.
So it's
fair.
all right, let's do the Crying Game, but let's put church in it.
Yeah. And so anyway, it went from a 7.8, but with his eyes looking over that 8 fence. Mm-hmm. That 8 fence is hard to get over in my book, so to speak. And it dropped down to a 4.5 for me. I viewed it actually as a complete waste of my time, because the ending was so mucked up and so random and so like
Out of left field,
and trying to like it felt like it was trying to make some sort of socio-political statement instead of the rest of the movie, which was kind of making its own statement about the Catholic Church. And the point is they were in a position with this movie to make a statement about an organization that, and I'm saying this as a recovering Catholic, so it's okay for me to say it. I think that's how talk goes these days.
Share your trauma.
They could have made a number of statements about one of the most corrupt, sinister organizations on the planet.
Yes.
At the end of this film, and they didn't. They made a statement about
Something
gender and identity.
You do have to be a dude though, right? To be a pope. Well, something like that.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the new drama of this movie in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, women aren't priests in the Catholic Church.
So why
No.
would that even come to light?
You
and
would
be
think-
known unless they had maybe been
Did it have
One
a
of
physical?
the advisors,
Should you check
one of the advisors did a
microphone check?
background check and something came up that was funny business.
Oh. And it's funny it got to that point before they discovered whatever the.
I mean, theologically, I think an emissary, if there was one, an emissary of God would probably be a hermaphrodite, right? Because you got to represent all the people. It'd probably be some kind of like
Well.
weird color person with all the knob.
You mean like a
nubbins.
biblically accurate angel?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's got to have boobs and a dick and balls and
eyes on the
vagina.
wings. Is that a thing?
A bunch of eyes.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, it was just one of those things where I was like,
Or maybe we broken up but all put together represent.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It would be everything
But
together.
God doesn't have to have all of those individuals.
What if God was one of us?
just a slob.
Just a slob like one of us.
well, you know, it's funny.
Just a stranger on a
Being
bus.
in the Vatican was one of the most conflicted moments of my life.
Yeah, I
Did you?
hated it.
Did you get hard?
No.
Well, you
No,
said conflicted.
Hey, Lord knows what happened to me in there.
They're not. They're not checking for that. I promise.
Because I had a number of feelings about it. Like, so one, I'm kind of into like oogie boogie spooky shit. So like, you know, there's a fair amount of that in there's a fair amount of that in there vibe wise, which I was kind of digging. Secondly, like I am a recovering Catholic, so like some of that childhood stuff, not that I had any trauma related to it, but just
Not that kind.
the stuff that you would go through in the Catholic Church as a kid, like that was all coming up for me. 3, like I'm really into like architecture and like expression in architecture, and some of that, I mean, most of that shit is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
So like that's coming up, and then 4, I'm like, man, with just one of these seemingly solid gold pillars, you could probably feed a third world country
That's
for
where I
a
go
month.
to.
So like I had all 4 of those things like eating away at how I felt about it, and I had to figure out like, how do I feel standing here? You know, it was a confusing moment, but a good one ultimately, because it challenged. I found it challenging.
It's a lot less mystique when it's like full of tourists screaming. You know, like the Oogie Boogie stuff is a lot less. I imagine
It's
like
it's
in
less,
the
but
evening
it's
with
still
less
there.
people.
It's less.
No,
but
I was there.
Yeah. It's still there's
But,
still oogie boogie vibes, especially when you go like in the catacombs or the graves. And, like it's just big oogie boogie vibes.
It was, maybe it's because I was with a bunch of fucking Chinese people. It was just being loud,
And they're all just
obnoxious.
chattering away.
Exactly. Over the fucking tour guide. Tour guide was trying to speak, and they were trying to speak over the tour guide to each other, and I'm just like, oh.
My tour
right
guide, a lady, I'll have you know, complete gangster. Like
I feel like you have to be.
well, she was. We were like, just to get into that fucking place is a goddamn
Yeah.
zoo, and we're at the back of the line. We're like at the part of the line where you're like, here we go, and they're like, no, the back is back there. Like, oh fuck, I thought this was the back. You had to go back to the back. And then she was like, She was like, "We're not standing here all day. Too long." And we're like, okay. And she was like, and we just followed right along with her. And she was like, "We're here, friends." She was great. Shout out to her, wherever she may be. She's also the one that told Adam his jacket was overpriced, which was great.
I feel like the tour guides there have to be like the most savviest of people. Because like I feel like I had the same experience with my tour guide. It was just like...
Yeah, they got another shit, especially in Rome and in that area, because like it's an aggressive town. Like not like violent aggressive, but just like...
To get where you're going.
Yeah. Like they don't stop for crosswalks and none of that shit. Like,
Perfect.
You know, like
That's somewhere to be, man.
Yeah. I'm in a fucking rush, you fuck.
Yeah.
Did I have I told you guys about the guy flipping me off, right? Yeah, we covered that last week. Yeah. All right, so let me get into the new order of things. Farrell didn't get coffee. Joe got his coffee last. Joey, how was your nerd week?
What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Finished Dune. I thought it was good.
The series?
It is end of the arc.
Joey, the series.
Yes, the prophecy.
Yeah, because I watched the first two movies way back. So like it's obviously season 2. So like it's in between arcs. So like I'm okay with that.
I was worried.
Like, everything they were talking about closed, and they were in between going knowing that they're going somewhere else. And
I thought we were good, but
I'm good with that. Like there was nothing in between. They didn't stop in the middle of the fight and be like, stop in the middle of something happening.
Right.
See you in 2 years.
We're between things happening.
If you're lucky, these fucking days of HBO.
Yeah. But I thought it was good. Of all the things of the suspension of disbelief.
Yes.
The problem I have is a sociopolitical, something like that one.
Sociopolitical.
Okay, so everything I can put aside and believe, right? Technology-wise, how feudalism works. But the only thing I can't, it's hard to wrap my mind around and relate to real life is, okay, we have all these countries with everyone fighting over each other, and we do have a new world order with one United Nations type government, maybe, with one guy in charge. And then this is this one other separate Catholics, maybe, Vatican.
Yep.
And they are believed to have powers, and they do, like physical powers,
yes,
right? And psychic powers.
Yes.
And mind reading, kind of. Right?
Yes.
And we're supposed to believe
the
that...
pantomime. Guy's got 17 things to do, give himself away. Girl, 20. Guy, 17. Now, if you know them, like you know the back of your hand, it beats lie detectors all hell. Now, what we got here is a bit of show and tell. Now, you're telling me everything, but you're not showing me nothing. I love that.
This man can't work a PS4.
Because it's filled with brains. His brain is filled with stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I know that Pushnikin's home planet.
Which is?
No, he's not even a real character. I was hoping that you wouldn't ask him. I was going to line up something funny to say. But
no, but yet everyone's vying for an advisor from this place. It doesn't make sense to me that the entire universe is giving this one faction an obvious... like leverage. So like,
you're talking about Dune.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I was just saying. I'm trying to relate about geopolitical.
Yeah, I'm trying to relate it to real world. We would never do that. We would not every country picking somebody from one other country.
We'd have blown them up by now.
Like not even thinking about the fact that they could have this own secret, which they do.
Yeah, I mean, all they want is a lie detector, right? Everybody wants really a lie detector.
Yeah, basically, and a sound advisor, but they all get it from the same group of people.
Yeah. It does seem like
that doesn't make fucking sense.
Is that
to me.
accurate to the books?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. I mean, they're very big they're core to the story.
Because I'll tell you, I've struggled to wrap my head around this series, so to speak. And you talked to me one day at length about trying to explain it, and that helped. And then seeing the second movie helped. But I feel like I have a much firmer understanding of this world after seeing that show.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like I was really
this is
able
10,000
to
years
understand.
before the movies.
Yes.
But like the sisterhood, the Bene Gesserit, they change powers, the dynamics over time. They always have like inner turmoils and shit, obviously, because they got too much going on.
Women, am I right?
They keep killing themselves, right?
Or each other.
Yeah. Everyone's always leveraging for power. But everyone is...
Too many bloody mama hens, you know what I mean?
It makes more sense if there were more of these orders that everyone's picking from. Or they have their own order. Like, I can't imagine that being a thing.
A free market for
Yeah.
psychics.
Like
It's really a monopoly. It's a psychic monopoly.
Everyone fucking getting a psychic from the same country and not thinking that one country is going to take over the fucking world.
Yeah, it does seem
It's
short-sighted.
insane. It's insane to me. But I mean, it's not as insane as when the guy turns into a fucking super worm himself later. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
I'll forget by the time I watch it. So.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to cover that in the third movie. I think it's going to be later. It's not Paul. It's Leto the second or whatever. Anyway, but overall, I enjoyed it. I would watch the second season. But that's the only thing I couldn't believe out of everything that else that's like, wow.
Good acting.
Yeah.
And the young girls to the older ladies, like perfect choices for casting.
Especially the not the main sister. I thought that was great. Yeah, great. Bro. So people, you know how the old like joke goes, how people would do anything other than go to therapy, or people would go to do anything other than go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And obviously, I experienced that. A lot of people would come and ask, like, trying to show me the foot rash
No,
to recommend
fine.
them stuff, or like trying to get me to prescribe them something.
And then you're like, let me taste it.
You should start taking pictures of those rashes and make some money.
Right. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with a drug called nitrostat or nitroglycerin.
Yes.
It's in case of emergency, if you're having a heart attack, you take one of these, and you can, in 5 minutes, you can take another one, and in 5 minutes, you can take another one. That's 3. You're fucking in trouble by that. You got to be called 911, right?
Well, hopefully
Hopefully, you probably call. You would call by after the first one.
Hopefully it's sorted.
Sometimes the second. It is though. You can be sorted
yeah.
after 1 or 2. That's why they give you 3 doses. Or they allow you 3 doses before you have to call 911.
Sure.
Because I would call after the second. I would take the first and be like, let me see how this goes, and I'll take a second, and be like, not so good. Let me call somebody.
That's fair.
So I got a phone call. I just took my third nitrostat a few minutes ago, and I'm still not doing so good. What can I do?
Dial 911.
Dude, and I had to argue with this guy, and just not shit on him for not already calling 911.
Well, you don't want to raise his blood pressure.
Do you
tell
not,
him, like,
let
hey-
me ask you a question. When you call your pharmacy, does it say if this is a magical emergency, call 911?
Magical emergency.
Do you have that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
and they blew right through the
also,
prompt.
if you're given that medication, you're explicitly told. Obviously, you've had some kind of fucking heart failure or some kind of heart problem to be prescribed that medication that you could probably fucking drop dead at any given moment.
Did you tell him to like run up the steps a couple of times and see if it fixes itself?
Try to do
I had to
6 push-ups.
But that's
light
the thing.
cardio.
Watch your form.
I was on the phone with him for it was more than a couple of minutes trying to convince him to call 911 while he was keep trying to get me to give him an alternative advice.
He was probably just paralyzed by the fear of how much it was going to cost.
That might
I
be
guarantee
it.
you
But
that was it.
then don't call me. Just
Or maybe
that-
he really trusts you.
I don't know this guy.
Did he call to talk to you, or did he call to talk to Andrew?
He talked to the pharmacist. He called to ask for a pharmacist. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do for you? Like, in my mind, it's just like, I don't understand why people call me sometimes. And especially this. This is the most craziest cry for help I've ever gotten.
That's wild.
And the fact that I had to like argue with him to call 911. But I mean, if you can't afford it, I get it. Like, but you make that choice, right? You do the die, or you do the call 911. Don't put this shit on me.
I mean, I get that, but I could imagine it's like, I know if I go and I die, then a burden will be on my family, and I don't want to leave them with any burden. I'm just going through my head like, what are the reasons why somebody would react that way?
Right, but you shouldn't call me.
No, you should never call.
Did he eventually call 911?
I don't know.
Okay. Did he say he was?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like, you need to hang up and call 911
He just
now.
hit you with all right then.
A lot of help you were.
Basically, I don't know. I don't know what happened to this guy. It's not my responsibility.
I didn't say it was.
Yeah,
I was just curious.
like,
How does that phone
No,
call?
it did not end with a definitive. I'm going to call 911 now.
Gotcha.
It did not. It was
Yeah,
closer to me hanging up on him than anything else. Hanging up on him and telling him to call 911, which is Godspeed. Is that the word?
He
God
pops
bless?
in the
One-
door.
One of those.
Pops in the door
It's
next
a journey.
week. Pops in the door next week like, I made it.
I mean, they didn't even give me the name. I have no idea who this dude was.
Baking soda. That's what I took, and it fixed it.
Yeah.
Just tell the medical community.
Do you guys sell rat poison there? Because last time the rat poison fixed it.
I mean, we do. It's called warfarin. It's medication. It's a blood thinner. You just give a bunch of blood thinner to somebody. It's rat poison. You just hemorrhage out.
Well, there you
like
go.
your blood gets so thin it just like seeps out everywhere, out of your blood vessels, and you die.
Did you do that little dance when you did it?
Yes, this is my. That's why they have Coumadin clinics,
That's right.
and the dosage is very exact. It'll be like every third day you take this, and every second day you take this. In the morning you take half, and in the evening you take one. It's crazy. I hope I don't have to do that shit. I don't know how these people survive actually having to take it that complex. Because some of these people that needs to take complex medications are not the sharpest, as we were saying earlier.
Yes. The cutlery.
The cutlery.
Oh shit. No, we're good.
Figure
that out.
Save
Let me
it.
save
Save
it.
it. Save
Let
it.
me
Save
save
it.
it.
Okay, save it.
For the previous. Oh no, wait, there it did. Who the fuck knows why I did that then?
Break. It started at the top of it.
Yeah. All right. Let me just make sure that everything here is good.
Bobby update face.
Yeah. Sorry. So yeah. All right. Now we're back. Like I said, new computer today, so we're making sure that everything is going smoothly. We don't want to lose anything. Go ahead.
Started another show. There's 4 seasons of it so far. 5th season dropping soon. Highly rated on Hulu, called Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
It's pretty good.
It's very popular. I think it actually comes on broadcast television.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like 10 episode seasons. There's been 4 seasons. We just finished season 1 last night after 10 episodes.
Is
Martin Short.
I cannot stand that man. He's like one of my
Really?
least favorite. I don't think he's funny.
What about Glick?
I don't think he's funny.
You don't find Glick funny?
I don't think Martin
He can't be
Short's-
annoying.
Dude,
There's annoying
Glick.
humor.
He's annoying. Like if he's gonna,
Why do you feel like that, Joe?
he's gonna be on Saturday Night Live. I won't watch it.
Yeah, but like,
I just can't.
and
Sometimes, Christopher, don't you think that he's pretty funny?
No, I don't. I think it might have been funny in the 1970s. I just don't find any.
That dude's
Him
you
and
have
John
to-
Cusack can hop in a life raft and just get gone, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, why are we throwing shade at Johnny?
Oh,
I
put
can't stand
Jared
him.
Leto on there while we're at it.
No, come on, it's my boat. You can.
No,
host
you
your own
drag
boat.
him along on a fucking rope.
I like this look where you don't take care of yourself. It looks like you haven't showered. This is the new Hollywood. This is the new Hollywood. That shit is hysterical.
But I digress. How is the show?
But you have to. Well, yeah, he can be annoying. Like, but if you are in on it, you know he's going to be annoying, funny. Then you just laugh at how annoying he is. It's Martin Short, fucking the other old guy. Fucking what's his name?
Steve Martin,
Yes,
the actor.
We're one Chevy Chase away from Three Amigos, pal.
right. We are.
Therein lies the problem. Chevy Chase is the funny one of those three.
They're all funny.
In there.
They're all funny. Of course they're funny.
Steve Martin has had his moments.
Yeah.
But it's Steve Martin and Martin Short together, which they appear
But
together
they're
often.
offset by Selena Gomez.
All right, now that's not funny.
Actually, she's surprisingly good. I was not. I never seen her act. I know some of her music. I guess.
I think my kids listen to some of it.
But I was surprisingly. I was blown away by like her.
Oh,
acting.
wow, good,
And
good.
I think she got some accolades
That-
for
it
her.
said
Some
Disney-
accolades, not acolytes. That's very different.
Both.
Maybe.
Right? Am I wrong?
Could be. They were talking about one hell of a performance.
It said Disney training. She came through the Mouse Academy. Selena Gomez did. She was on
Oh, did she?
one of those shows.
Yeah, but
Wizards of Waverly Place.
They're serious.
the three of them are the main of this show. The premise is that they are tenants on this expensive building in New York City. They don't know each other at first. A murder takes place. Or no, a
Murder?
death. Murder. It happens in the building, and they all find out that they all listen to the same true crime podcast.
Jesus Christ.
That is podcasted by Tina Fey.
She's funny
She
Also,
is
and that's Saturday
funny.
Night
I do
Live,
enjoy it.
who
her.
also has a guest.
in movies.
So,
Sorry.
and Jimmy Fallon had a guest spot on this show. So there's all these Saturday Night Live people, but also the Sting. Sting lives in the building.
The rapper.
He's not funny.
The wrestler or the singer.
The singer.
Be
It
specific.
was surprisingly funny on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was. Chris asked to put it on. I was not.
Excited.
I was not excited. I wasn't enthused, but I wasn't gonna shit on it.
Sure.
I was gonna give it a chance.
Why not?
But it's better than I expected.
Good.
And I will continue to watch the rest of the season. And I encourage people who likes murder mystery / comedies, dramas to
partake.
Watch it. You might like
little
it.
of everything in there.
There is a little bit of everything in there. If you like podcasts, you should. You are listening right now.
Hate them.
No, really. Can't stand them.
Well, that show has won a ton of awards. That's
Yeah, it has.
probably why
It is
By
good.
Martin Short.
It is good.
There's another similar show, Joey, and I'm trying
the award.
I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's something to do with a murder podcast. It's got that girl from Kaylee Kyoko, or however you say her name. She was on the blonde from Big Bang Theory, like the one non-nerdy girl that was on Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, that's supposed to be a hot one.
Sure. Anyways, I don't know exactly what the premise is, but there's something to do, like they stumble upon a murder and then decide to create a podcast about it. And
that's kind of like the show.
yeah, so maybe that's why.
So like these guys listen to they found out they all listen to the same podcast. This murder happens and they all decided to make a podcast trying to figure out who killed this guy.
So we should make a podcast about that show.
We have enough.
Well, it's
he
a
has no
podcast.
This is a podcast about that show. That's a show about a podcast.
You need to make a noise for that, Bobby.
I mean, like I imagine.
Oh well, I got what I asked for.
I would imagine Bobby would hate podcasts because you're on like 9 of them.
Yeah,
you
but
probably podcast about
I don't-
14 hours a week.
I don't really listen to much podcasts anymore.
I
Like
actually do still enjoy them. But
I'll listen to an interview podcast. That's what I'll listen to. But like I don't listen to other stuff.
I was listening to a podcast today, Joey. I don't know why.
I don't ever hear you.
Oh, wait! It's Fifth Column.
No,
Breakfast Club.
Peter Chen, aka Kid Jai. He was the former leader of the Chinese Ghost Shadows gang. Tells his life story. And it's pretty good so far.
Is this like a podcast about cyberpunk?
So
That's
he
what it sounds
actually
like.
went into the history of. Do you know why there's such a big Chinese population in New York?
Chinatown.
So do you know why there's a Chinatown in New York?
Railroads.
So,
No, that's the California.
kind of. So they built
Yes.
they built the railroads, which took them to California.
California,
yeah. Penn
and they
Station.
settled in San Diego. And then there was a huge earthquake in San Diego that
surprise.
that fucked up the Chinese area, like where most of them were living, and they were like, "Fuck this."
How far
and
do the trains go back east?
And
they went all the way back.
and then pretty much they caught the first ticket to New York,
Really?
and then set up shop. Like
Probably a song about that.
It would have been
like-
fast if they just like went across the ocean back home. See,
I don't think that's what they wanted to do. Though I don't get that impression from talking to.
no, we don't want to do that. No.
So you
Talking
don't
to my
ever,
man Peter Chin.
you don't ever mention the Fifth Column anymore. Are you?
Oh no, I listened to an episode of theirs today also.
There you go.
Of course.
It's podcast mania.
Busy day, eh?
Yeah, well, I was actually, it's a long story and a boring one, but I was doing a lot of audio editing, taking out blank spots today. So I can listen to something while I'm doing that. It's just mind-numbing work.
They have automated programs to do that now.
I know.
I know they're not perfect.
That Sony one that's in particular is like a well-known one that does it. I'm just like a minimalist with software, but
But a maximum level of spending your time.
yeah. So I only do it for dummies, and it doesn't take that. It's only an hour. It doesn't take
I'm
that
sure you
long.
got a formula to
I do.
Only an hour.
Well, it's only an hour, and I only have to do it for a half hour of it. So it's not as bad as it sounds.
You got your system.
Yeah, it works.
I trust in you
Yeah.
to know your own.
Trust the
shit.
process.
So how many episodes are you into the podcast show about the podcast?
10. What season 1 is completed as of last night. You know what bugged the shit out of me though?
Isn't that one too many shows for a podcast? Don't you think?
So now you're just trying to piss me off, I think. Because I think you're trying to do a Martin Short impersonation.
It's the Martin Short Glick character specifically.
It's the Martin Short character period.
Where he's like super fat and he just stuffs his face with donuts while interviewing
Listen.
Hollywood celebrities. It's fucking great.
Listen, Eddie Murphy did it great, and Jack Black did it great in Tropic Thunder. So I don't need any more fat suit people.
Glick's got Jack Black beat.
I don't know the Fatties and the Fatties 2, Fatties 3. I'm digging deep here. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about.
No, I know the Nutty Professor.
It's what Jack Black's character in
Thunder.
Tropic Thunder was
Yes.
known for.
Yeah,
these
yes,
gross
yeah.
out fart movies.
Gotcha. That's right.
And doing drugs.
Which is probably a Nutty Professor dig.
It probably was. It had to have been.
I kept rewinding the first episode several times because my OCD couldn't let go. I noticed something like when they first get on the elevator. There's 3 of them. They live on 3 separate floors. You see them press the button, right? And then they do the shot at the end of like outro where you see them from the outside of the building, like on a drone or something.
Okay.
Like you see them,
Okay.
one of them in the window, and then another one of them in the window, and then so like it looks like they're all above each other on the floors.
Okay.
but they're not living on consecutive floors when they press the fucking elevator button.
Oh, yeah, that's
I kept
obnoxious.
going back and forth. And Krista pointed out there's no 13th floor, which is insane to me, but that solves that one, but doesn't solve the other. So they live on floor 10, 12, and 14. All right?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
So it makes
need
sense
11.
that 14 is about 12.
But you need 11.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
And
I
there's
was
no- well,
losing
hang on,
my
there's-
shit.
Unless that's part of
Hold
the
on.
mystery.
There's no 13th. You're discrediting the 13th floor, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. That so she showed me that. So I was like, okay. So but there should be
But we're missing the 11.
one above the other, and then a skip, and then a third person. But there's no
maybe
skip.
the 11th floor is part of the mystery, Joey.
Maybe
that's
it is. Maybe it
Okay,
is.
keep
Dude,
watching.
I hope I just
keep watching.
I hope I just
So,
found
this
it.
found something.
Yeah.
Or maybe
like-
maybe it's a half floor like that crazy movie with
Being
that,
John Malkovich.
With that, yeah, with
Funny
that,
way to
like
say awesome movie.
Well, I was going to say with that fucker Cusack that I don't care for.
I like that. I'm not the only person who has unreasonable hate for somebody now. I thought I was the only one who like just fucking hates
Well,
Jared Leto.
it just hadn't come to light yet. I'm sure there's
Now we
others
know.
we can dig
Well, no,
up.
I think we all do. Like I hate The Rock. You know, like I think we all have.
That's fine.
You know, I think we know. I'm saying I think we
I mean,
all
you're
have.
not a huge Vin Diesel fan either.
I'm not-
VIN Diesel.
I'm more
Vehicle
disappointed.
Identification number Diesel.
I'm more disappointed with him than I am angry.
Could you tell me when that started?
Whatever movie he did after Boiler Room.
Okay.
Has he never been on another good one?
So Pitch Black was fine.
I love Pitch Black.
I don't like Pitch Black.
That's what
Pitch
I
Black
got.
was
That's
fine.
what I learned of him from.
Chronicles of Riddick is fine.
Yeah.
But like
That robbed me of more Vin in Fast and Furious, so I'm not happy with that franchise.
But Boiler Room, I was like, oh, this guy's a fucking monster.
And he's really a bit part. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, he just said
But
that
it shows
one
that he can.
but he
He
nails
can
it,
do the
though.
thing.
Recco.
Yeah.
I reference that all the fucking time to people that are in sales to watch that movie.
It's
Like,
great.
if we hire somebody new in my sales department, I'm like,
Your parents don't like it? Fuck you, mom and dad. Let's see how you feel when I'm paying your fucking Lexus payment.
Do you think he got typecast and not given the opportunity? or
Yeah, he got expendabled.
he got
Just like Jason Statham.
Yeah, he can act too.
Yeah, but he got expendabled. He
Yeah,
did,
but
he
he
did some
also does
bozo
the-
shit, and then he became a bozo.
well, I guess he gets paid a lot to do the exact same movie every fucking time.
Yeah.
Because all his
Rich
movies.
Bozo.
Yeah,
Yeah. He probably doesn't mind too much when he's in his Scrooge McDuck bathtub and
Yeah.
swimming. in gold
Juggle these
coin.
bowling pins, clown.
Yeah.
What's worth more to you, your name or your money?
Hey, ancient old question.
Well, fucking, I'm trying to get better about. Not that I want to learn Chinese, like Mandarin Chinese, but I've noticed I've been struggling with.
Well, have you checked out the Jen record?
No.
You haven't checked out the Jen record?
No.
So Jen, you know who Jen is?
Oh,
No.
Jesus
So-
Christ, Bobby.
You know who Jen is. I can tell by your face.
I know
So-
who he is.
So
And I
Jen-
bought his fucking album.
you didn't.
I also bought Dragon's album.
I did. I bought
The
Dragon's album as
opposite
well.
of H2O.
Yeah,
How
so-
fucking clever
So
is that?
I got news for you. I bought the second one. So look, Jen was a Chinese guy, battle rapper. I actually have a personal story with him that I'm not going to tell right here, but he got signed to Rough Riders through the 106 in Park Freestyle Friday tournament.
That shit was badass back in the day.
He got signed to Rough Riders and he did an album through Rough Riders. DMX is the height of all that shit, and the first single was "Let Me Teach You Chinese."
Okay. And how did that do?
Did you
Not
know?
well.
Did you know? Did you know he is still active in the rap scene and in the
Yes.
Christian rap?
Yes, and
the Christian rap, huh?
and went home to the motherland.
Is Christianity big in China?
So I
They're
don't
big in
know.
Korea. I know that.
And he also, I mean, I can get real nerdy in here, but you know, he had a buddy of his shot and killed by China Mac, who is
Chinese?
Yeah, but he's like he probably knows my boy Peter Chin over here. He's into some underground shit, underworld shit more so. But yeah, little.
But yeah, so
quick history
I'm making more of an effort to respond back in Cantonese when my parents speak to me, because it used to be a lot more hybrid when I speak, but I've just noticed I'm just responding in pure English a lot of times now, and I'm trying to stop that because I know people can just lose language eventually.
Yeah.
They would-
You-
like
you
people
can-
can
you
understand, but they don't speak it. I don't want that
You can lose yourself
in the music.
in the moment.
well, we kind of did with
Should
the old
never,
Dragon thing.
never let it go, yo.
But like
Also, like Rammstein, to more music references, with the America record with "I don't speak my mother's tongue." You know, that's gonna be you, dude. You keep it up.
I'm trying to stop that. Just not for any other purpose than I've always thought it was very useful in thought process to have two languages at my disposal. Like I've always had a hard time explaining to people who only speaks one language that you are limited. You don't realize how much you're limited by one language, and that you're only limited.
Everyone has different specifications, right? Like because every language comes from a cultural base that has certain things that are more important than the other. So it's like, and I know you're not supposed to say Eskimos anymore, so I don't know my heart, not my words. Whoever you're supposed to call them, Inuits. I'm not sure. Is that Inuit?
I think it's Inuit.
I'm not Inuit. I tell you what.
I think native people probably.
You just made it worse, man.
I'm sorry.
Bobby.
I think you mix up
Indigenous people,
indigenous and Inuit,
or native people, both work.
So the native people of Alaska.
We're gonna make it to 500, right?
So they have like I'm using numbers arbitrarily, right? But they have like 98 words for snow. You know, because it's important to like to culture, like the shit how they came up. So having that, and then like having this other language, like you have this whole base of other words that don't exist in this language because they didn't need to. Yeah.
It's like cooking with like another set of ingredients. So when I think about stuff, I can use my other language.
Yeah,
to, like,
I think you got it though. If you're gonna start doing that, and I'm at full support. I like this. I like this idea of using the language more.
I mean,
every now and then I want to hear you say how you say. But I want you to think like no, it's kind of like how you say and do this with your fingers
with an Italian hand.
No, don't be racist.
With a ball tickling hands.
No, more like a money, more like a money, like a
okay. But yeah, so like it's been a few weeks since I've started doing it, and it's become more natural. But yeah, that was just something weird I noticed about myself. What else? I had this one fucking thing about how the Until Dawn movie is going to be completely not based on Until Dawn, and I don't know why the movie industry keep doing this to video games, where like we have a thing where like, well, look, when you have a source material that you follow through with, it does well and people fucking love it. But we're gonna keep doing the thing where we're just gonna make up our own story and slap this label on it where everyone shits on it. Like I thought we learned that by now in 2024, 2025.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I don't get it either.
And it's based on. I mean, it's relatively realistic. The story of Until Dawn is like modern times with modern people. There's a little bit of supernatural elements. They could have just copy that and made it into a movie. But they're like, no, we're gonna have a whole new set of characters, a whole new story.
I'm with you, buddy.
So you don't have Until Dawn.
That's because in my mind, and I don't know if I'm right, in my mind, it's like Hollywood just thinks they're so much fucking smarter than everybody else that they can't recognize that this franchise has been successful on its own for so long without them meddling into it and making it their own thing. It's how it feels to me.
But why?
I think it's just money.
But why to put the label? Or using the label to attract audience?
Yeah, because it's something that people have heard of. So,
but people who are a fan of the games would like automatically,
right? But they're going to see it anyway, and then they're going to hate it, right? Whatever.
You're right.
But then other people are like, yeah, I've heard that. Like, little Johnny plays that video game. Like, it's just a recognition thing.
So here's a quote from a guy. The key to successfully adapting games comes down to one thing: respecting the source material.
I like it.
But this is the guy who's not going.
They all say that.
Our close collaboration with PlayStation Production gives us and our filmmaker the advantage of working directly with the creators of the game.
It's just a whole bunch of the creators responding. No, that's not it. But they're responding closely.
So like, why bother working with anybody from the game if you're not doing anything with the game? I
agree.
I don't know. It's
Preaching to the
upsetting
choir,
to
my
me.
friend.
It's fucking upsetting to me.
Yeah. I mean, I had to fight through it. We all had to fight through it for years with comic book movies. You know, it wasn't until like the last 10 years that it kind of became normal to make the comic book movie about the fucking comic book shit.
Well, and the super suits, like super suits.
Yeah.
But I think we had to
get black leather only. Like, but it's Superman, black leather only.
We did have black Superman on steel, but black suit Superman also.
Yes,
and steel,
and steel. Steel was also black Superman.
That was a movie
and a show. Is it a show?
It was a movie.
I don't know if it was a show. It definitely was a movie.
Starring the one and only Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, but I think there was a steal in one of the TV shows. But I think we had to slowly get there, right? People had to ramp up to like Iron Man 1 was very based on real world.
Yes.
And you had to ramp it up to where we are now.
Yeah. No, it's you had to desensitize people, right?
So you start with the black leather with X-Men.
Well, no, not even that. I mean, like you start with a like a philanthropist, right? And
Playboy,
then,
billionaire,
yes,
genius.
yes, but you make all of these things true, right? And you ground this character because there's nothing fantastic about it. I mean, it's obviously fantastic, but there's nothing capital F
You
fantastic
give him a box of scraps
about Iron Man
in a cave.
right? Right.
The rest is history.
You know, and then the next thing you know, you're fucking A-okay with a fucking raccoon talking to you.
Yes.
You know?
Because even when the raccoon was about to talk to me, I wasn't going to let the raccoon talk to me. Because when they talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm like, of all the things, they're going to put
That's
out
what
this.
I thought too.
That's how.
But then
that's
it was
how
fucking
goes.
great.
That's how it goes. You get people invested, and then you can kind of have carte blanche as long as you keep the same formula of staying true to the shit.
But then you have a
somebody-
problem of staying with the same formula, and you don't like the
Well,
formula anymore.
Right, but then you give somebody too much freedom, and you get Joker Fuladoo or whatever it's called. Fuladoo.
We're just not pronouncing shit today, are we?
The second Joker.
Fool a doof.
Full of douche. That's it.
But then people say, or you say, these movies have gotten too formulaic.
Yes, but not because of them sticking true to the source material. They got too formulaic because they just always fight the bad versions of themselves. They give you the first 20 minutes of the origin story, the second 20 minutes of figuring out how to use your powers, and then the last hour of fighting a bad version of yourself. Mm-hmm. So, like, even if you switch up one of those, at least it would give me a breath of fresh air, you know?
And this is from actually like fucking Christmas. This was a while ago, but here we are on January 20th. Happy birthday and Happy New Year, Bobby.
Oh, wow. Double burn.
Yeah.
Me too, so radical, fun of a chow.
That's what I think of that.
But speaking of religion earlier, prayer makes me extremely uncomfortable and cringe. Like I was like just trying so hard not to just like vibrate out of my skin. So we had Christmas party. I think it's a tradition now.
Okay.
This is the second year in a row where
like it.
Krista has her family come over, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I like her family well enough. I know them okay. I know of them, and I know her immediate family, her parents and her brother, and I have a good relationship with her father, especially. We did a lot of projects together back when we were doing cosplay. He's like a handyman.
Nice.
Not the strong hand man.
But no, remember, wasn't it Handyman from In Living Color with Damon Wayans?
100%.
We're really trying to not make it to 500.
No. They can't see.
What episode is this? This is why we can't have a visual
Yes,
fucking podcast.
that's true.
Because Bobby can't fucking contain himself.
That's true.
But yeah, do you guys have to be present for mandatory prayers anytime in your life nowadays?
I mean,
it used to be normal back in when I was
Weddings
like a
and
kid.
funerals.
I'm just like, oh. Well, those are like usually pre-written at least.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Spontaneous
You mean talking about
prayers.
freestyling?
Prayer in public.
They're
Hurts my soul.
So
they're 8 pounds, 7 ounce baby Jesus. That's the best
Baby
one.
Jesus is my favorite.
Yeah, because of the awkwardness.
Yeah.
I love
You
the
love
awkward.
awkward.
I love
oh
awkward.
my god!
So
I might get goosebumps just from like reliving that moment.
My dad said, Grace, before we ate at Thanksgiving dinner, it's fine. I'm very willing to accept anyone else's traditions. Man, I grew up with it, so it's not like it's super foreign. But
So I had
me.
My brother Ben gave a prayer at my grandmother's funeral.
Oh, you think he's doofy anyway?
Yes, but that doesn't make this any less of a great story. But it's my grandmother on my mother's side, so it's not like the one that raised me. And but she was cool too. But we weren't tight or anything. And he said, like, during the prayer, because my grandfather passed like 5 years before her or whatever, and he said during the prayer, he was like, and I just know you're up there. You know, he said this whole thing like, I miss you, all this shit. It went on forever. And then he was like, and I just know you're up there with granddad playing board games. And I just said in the middle, I was like, Ben, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Were they not into board games?
They were.
Maybe they're playing board games.
One can only
here's
hope.
the deal.
God willing.
Afterlife, you walk in, here's your, hey, fuck stick. Hey, you want to play Chinese checkers?
Why so much Chinese shit today? Come on.
You're like, you're the one that
This
wants to
is it.
speak the goddamn language.
I kept my shit together for 80 fucking years, and we're going to play Chinese checkers.
You would think they'd want to play the game of life.
Well, pick out your NPC to play.
Nice.
Pick out your do your attributes. Pick their hair. If you're playing Cyberpunk, you get to pick a lot of things. Cut, uncut, your choice.
And the most awkward part of prayers I've always known and found it's it's hard to close.
No, it's hard to close.
It's just like in a good story,
It's
right?
hard to close.
Sometimes people are doing good on a roll on their prayer, and then like they at the end it just get real awkward. They don't know how to
close.
It's like they don't know how to hang out with God. They're on the phone with God, and they just don't know how to hang out.
Hey, all right then.
I guess I'll see you later.
You know, the wild ones are if you ever watch NASCAR, they have like they call it invocation.
No.
They always have someone say a prayer before. Please protect these racers. I'm like, this is what we're praying about. But I mean, yeah, it's dangerous, but we could be doing other things.
Well, it's NASCAR, so they're saying, please protect these racists.
Michael Jordan owns a NASCAR.
I'm just
Did you know
kidding.
that?
I'm just kidding. Love hanging fruit.
You love hanging fruit?
No, but I do love a nice sumo orange. I just had one before you guys showed up. They were delicious. And in season. Get them while you can. At Japan.
Yes,
A break from China.
just a hop, skip it away.
I thought Bobby was saying Japan like he thought it was.
A province.
Of China.
You know,
China
the
will
other
probably like to think
That's probably my favorite part of China.
bro. Growing up, that became normalized. Growing up,
Yeah, I mean,
like Chinaman or like Japanese,
yeah, I mean,
like the
because
Chinese, Japanese, they're all the same shit to a lot of people used to be.
yeah. I mean, yeah. You know,
You were probably one of them.
look,
Are you one of them Chinese?
If I could turn back time, I don't know what I was. I mean, I probably. So I'll be honest with you. We didn't. There wasn't many. I didn't grow up around a whole lot of Asian people. You know, like it was like
I was right around the block.
yeah, I know, which is crazy, but it was like you know, you knew who the two of them were, Hey Sung and Hey Jin, and they sat over there. Never tried to run for the mile. I'll fucking tell you what.
I had two friends in high school that were
In Alabama?
both half Korean. Yeah.
Oh, together.
No, I did have two friends in Alabama, believe it or not.
The two
On
of them-
top of those two, no. I had two friends in high school that were both half Korean.
You couldn't find a whole Asian in Alabama.
Well, you put them
Between the
together.
two of them, great minds.
And that's strange. And that was it? That was
Well,
all you got?
there's a military base there. There was not a ton of Asian people in
Just the two
Alabama.
Yeah,
Just the two half Koreans.
it was very.
There were other Asian people in high school, but I did not have some need to go up to introduce
actually-
myself to all of them.
You know, to be honest
I
with
pull
you,
out my yearbooks.
like
I have them.
I didn't grow up with a lot. I mean, there were some Asians.
I did not know a single Jewish person growing up because
So-
Jewish people in Alabama.
It was a handful of Jewish people. We had a few, like I don't know if I had to have.
There was one Mormon family in my high school.
There's always
Very
one Mormon family somewhere.
just one.
a pinch of Indians, and I mean that was. I mean, as far everything else was white, black, and Hispanic.
Yep. That was my experience of being alone growing up.
Yeah. I mean, so I can relate.
No, it was fine. I was in military school, and I got to see all kinds of people.
Oh, yeah.
which was great.
I like how you guys all just navigated that minefield of a conversation.
I mean, you can jump in whenever.
He's a spectator.
I know
He's a
how to
spectator
deal with
sport.
minefields. Just don't go into them.
Yeah.
And that's
If you didn't go to high school,
me.
it's cool. You can tell us.
I went to Catholic high school.
Oh gosh, that's right.
Yeah, I went to Christian middle school, and he knows where it is. Bethel Christian, you know where that is.
Yeah. And
Across from Wawa.
and I went to well, just I mean,
I went to Protection Valley Middle. That before I got sent to.
we had
before I got
beef
sent
with,
to.
beef with Joe.
Well, I got sent out from there to go
It's
to
probably
Bethel.
so interesting to people in like
Yeah.
Fucking-
Well, we chart in Russia, so I'm sure they're loving it.
they're writing down all these street names,
Anyway,
the schools.
That's all I got.
that's all you got, Christopher. If you're nasty,
Well, I am. I didn't do too terribly much. We had a house guest
Yes.
for the weekend.
Yeah.
I had
Oi, oi.
a tall tattooed British man. Hung out with him a good bit. We went around and looked at. He had quite an extensive shopping list from Katie, and what he's telling me is Katie normally sends the list while he's here, so he doesn't like plan it.
right?
And I figured out we could hit like a Bath and Body Works and a Sephora, not a Sephora, Ulta, the other one.
Yes.
And a Target and a Walmart, all in Westminster. So it made sense.
Bloody ultimatum.
And he wanted to go to Attorney of Dreams, which is not an adult establishment, by the way. It is a vintage
sounds like
toy
it, though.
store. It's inside of a mall. It's huge.
Mistake earlier.
It's not a bad one.
They actually had one of the two Simpson sets I need there.
No shit.
I just couldn't bring myself to spend the money right
How
now.
much was it?
It was only $80. It wasn't that much.
You didn't
but
spend $80?
I just didn't feel like spending it right then. 'Cause I have my eye on something else I'm going to buy soon. So, and Crashbox isn't popping off like it used to, so I don't spend as wildly as I have in the past. But Cody had this list
because you filled every DTOF in America at this point.
That's true.
Every Billy.
That's true. Every DTOF, every Billy. I need to come up with a new shelf to attack.
Well,
What else is popular?
The new
Okay.
DTOF replacement.
Yeah. Anyway, so we went to Sephora, not Sephora, Ulta, and she was looking for some. I never heard of it. It looks about the size of like this phone, but it may be a little smaller. But it's got like it's a hand sanitizer pump thing you keep, and there's like a Hello Kitty like case for it or something, and like we're able to get that. And apparently this is some crazy
Jackpot?
crazy popular thing because the lady's like, well, we don't. She wants some scent, and like, you sell like crazy. People come in like buy them all the time. Got her that. We went to there was the fancy candle store. You guys know the
Yankee candles?
You know the gag about the fancy. Well, you don't. So first time I met Cody, he said that his girl wanted some things from the fancy candle store, but he couldn't remember the name of it. And I was thinking, is it like that French place? Where he's like, no, we have that here. They have that, in the UK. We're going to a mall. It's fucking Bath and Body Works. I'm like, bro, it's in every mall in America.
What's one man's trash and that man's treasure?
So we go in there and like, I don't. Cody probably wouldn't just go directly to somebody who's like, I have a list of stuff. Can you help me? I'm like, I'm not hanging out in here all fucking day because it was a long list. So two girls said, I'm like, hey, we have a very long list, and Cody started showing her, and she was walking around, and he's like, I could have just looked around. I was like, no, we're not going to look around in here for this shit. I think I like all but one thing she wanted, and it was all on sale, so it worked out fantastic. So
it's always wild to see what Cody brings back to when he comes every time, like K-Pods. Like fucking Febreze.
You got Gain
like
Febreze.
just like
it's just things,
fucking laundry goods.
just things they don't have or have. They don't
Which
have
is
that
wild.
scent or whatever. So
I'm gonna go to America so I can buy some fucking shit from Target.
hey,
it's
rock on, man.
what's more American than that?
Fair.
Hey, Joey. Why did the duck break his bill? Because he needed some change.
No. No.
So really, anything could have broken a bill for some change. It didn't have to be a duck.
Because the duck has a
duck
bill.
has a
bro.
bill.
No, I get that.
So
It wasn't. It wasn't specific to the duck.
Look, I didn't write this, okay? I'll find out who wrote it. Get ready, could you give me some clarification?
Let's see how long that's gonna last.
So I don't really ever have funny stories about the kids, but I have one. So we were last night. Kelly's like, I don't feel like cooking. Let's just have we call it thin for yourself night, right? Mm-hmm. Warm up something. We have frozen stuff or sandwiches, whatever. So I made a sandwich and I wanted to cut it in half. And I said, Charlie, will you hand me a knife? We have knives with sheaths. He's like, he said, do you want the boner knife? We have a bone knife. And he called it a boner knife.
it's like, no.
So from now on,
Absolutely
from
not.
now on, that's the boner knife. Just going forward, that you pull out the boner knife on them. I'm a hacker, guys. I'm a hacker. You know why?
Why?
I fix my mods in Cyberpunk all by myself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, by clicking update.
I told you.
So you click update, but then you have to go through, and there's
all of them.
266 mods.
Yeah, I sat
them.
there and downloaded a lot of
Yeah,
them
I
for
know.
you.
Well, I had to re-download about half of them.
Yeah.
But you go through, and it's like, you have, it shows you one of the ones that have an update.
You playing a game, like a bloody game playing you.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
little column A and a little column B. So.
Oh, speaking of that, my surprise to myself, my comment showed up on a YouTube video. Like, so Final Fantasy Rebirth, I didn't mention it. I assume people would know that I'm just balls deep into it, playing it, doing all the mods to like tweak it and stuff.
Okay.
And one of the mods was really fucking good. It just like tweaked the whole fucking engine of the game, made everything smooth. So I went to the mod page and commented, fucking this was a game changer, pun intended. Thanks to Kris. And then and there's this guy I watch videos of that makes Final Fantasy VII content. And the first thing was like, look at this comment. And it was me. I was like, what? Am I just looking at my own comment? It was like, 10 minutes ago, this guy just dropped this comment. And I'm like, that's a surreal experience.
Dude, you
Weird
and
flex,
the Pope
bro.
both
Weird
get bars.
Huh?
You and the Pope both with bars.
Yeah.
That's it. So I want to talk a little bit about this because I did do a little bit of market research.
Okay.
So, Bobby, I watched your video this morning
Megatron.
on the Megatron, and you commented on how yellow Soundwave's legs had gotten.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
It is. So I took.
It's almost like an olive green.
Yeah. So I have two
Just some
other
time?
figures.
Is it in the
but
sun?
not a whole lot of time.
Like this is probably the
How much
worst.
time?
You see that the yellow, like that color on.
Yeah, how much time has it been?
No, I don't know.
So
Chug Bug.
I asked in the Realm of Collectors group about it, and it was some people are like, yeah, I'm seeing it. Some people, no, I'm not, but it's been in the box the whole time. But apparently it was stuff that came out during COVID. It's that early
it's got
siege
COVID
stuff,
in
like
it.
when it's got the mud. It's got some. So I'm gonna try just putting a heat gun on it and seeing if it changes. Sometimes
Can't
that's all
hurt
it
it.
takes to fix it. But that's fucking crazy. Could you imagine if
is crazy.
Unicron did that?
Yeah, I mean,
Holy
there's so
shit.
many. Like it's like
Yeah.
like I thought it was an isolated incident.
No, it's all-
and then he sent me that picture, and I was like, oh my god, it's like fucking.
Yeah, it's.
No, but that's the bloody real pandemic. Yeah,
It is. I mean, the Megatron, whatever, he's going in the band anyways, but that's like Cyclone's is a really good figure.
Yeah.
For Chug especially, and like fuck now, what am I gonna? I don't know. So I'm gonna try to just fucking. Heat
I guess
up
you
and
could
see
paint
what
it.
happens.
Paint it, yeah.
Sure, I can do that. I'll put it on the list.
I hear you.
I watched two things this week. One recommendation from you, Bobby. I watched the Blackberry movie.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good.
I enjoy the guy who plays the bald guy, Glenn Howerton.
Oh yeah, it was weird to see him bald.
Yeah,
though, but
so he's on. It's Always Sunny. It's where I know him from mostly, and the Jay, whatever his last name is, the other guy. I thought it was a pretty interesting way to tell this story, and I think it probably speaks volumes to a lot of people in tech who have made a lot of money just being able to talk about something because the fucking tech nerds just don't have the capacity to articulate what they have and what they're doing. Much like shown in the first meeting they have in there. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good story, and it ended. It ended with they built that clicky phone in China.
Yeah.
And I can tell you from firsthand experience, that was my one and only BlackBerry ever, and it was a piece of shit, and I took it back and got probably a flip droid or something.
it's crazy. I started my smartphone journey with a Droid as well.
Oh, well, I thought you were going to say a Crackberry.
It was a Motorola. The screen slid up. Had the whole keyboard
I had
underneath.
that one too, yeah.
Sidekick.
Wow. I had a bunch of
I don't know.
wild Android phones that flipped up. I actually still have the R2D2.
Oh yeah,
Droid that
yeah. That
slides
was
up,
like
it's got all the-
that wasn't too far away from. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the sidekick, right?
No,
Sidekick was before that.
And I had a
Sidekick wasn't a
sidekick, and I
smartphone,
threw
but it
it.
was
I
getting
fucking before I realized it would be cool to keep old shit like that, I threw away a bunch of it. But I do have a bag full.
I still
of
have
old
mine.
phones. When
My
you
Droid.
used to be able to keep your phones.
I
I
can't
have
get
a back full.
I can't get the shit off of it. Like,
How can you not get the shit?
I don't know. Joey even gave me his PC laptop, and it
Will it-
won't read it.
Will it connect to the internet?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, then just upload what you want to Google
Oh no,
Drive.
I can't actually do anything once I'm on the internet because then it gets
Oh, I got you.
But
He's just trying to
I got some movies and shit on there, like Jaina as a baby.
oh yeah, we don't think about that shit. Our phones being obsolete, but hopefully,
I thought about
hopefully
that.
the Type-C plug.
We had this conversation back in episode 43 of Nerd Rage, where you were like, I'm just gonna gamble it. I was talking about how you had everything on your phone and not upload it anywhere, and it wasn't about the cloud. So you were like, it's on my phone, it's fine.
Well, yeah, but turns out it was on the cloud.
Yeah, but it turns out you don't have those things.
No. Because I didn't have a Droid then. I had an iPhone then, but I've always had the cloud. My shit's always been on the cloud. Laura did it. I didn't know it.
You didn't know it, yeah.
Laura's always in the cloud for you, man.
Yeah, I was bloody in the
I was
clouds, living her life in the clouds.
There's some things you don't want to lose.
Yeah, and oh yeah, go ahead. I make a note to remember.
Okay,
Go ahead.
The other movie I watched is called Boy Kills World. It's got Bill Skarsgård, the guy who played it, in it.
One of the Skarsgårds.
Yeah, and it's set in some dystopian world where this one family has taken over all the government and is rounding people up. Based on where they're from. I'm not saying it's mirroring anything today, but long story short, the lead character, he has been his ears have been burnt out and his tongue's been cut off, and he has an inner dialogue that talks the whole time, and it's the guy who does Bob's voice from Bob's Burgers.
Hell yeah, Archer.
Archer, yeah, not Arrow. That's different. So, it's an interesting concept from that point of view, but the story is I thought it was fucking great. There's something you never see coming in it, and it literally it almost just flips the whole thing upside down at some point.
I think I saw that.
It's a bloody, gory action
Yeah.
movie, you know, with the CGI blood. And Sam Raimi actually directed it.
Yeah, I remember
but it
seeing
doesn't feel like a Sam Raimi movie, like
Right.
Doctor
Like some of the more
Strange
terrible
was like.
ones.
That's a Sam Raimi movie.
What's it on? Because I remember seeing the trailer of it. And
Came
I
out
thought I
last
was interested.
2023, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to
That's
think
a
who
while
else
ago.
is in it.
What streaming platform?
One of the ones I have. I'll look it up. I think it was Hulu.
Okay,
But
I
I
have
could
like
be
all of
wrong.
them between
Yeah, unfortunately.
everybody.
Yeah.
that we share with.
But that was really it for me. Watching. I'll go ahead.
You started Expanse again yet?
No,
there might be some Expanse coming up
I'm
here
taking
shortly.
a break because
No, Farrell, what do you got this week?
Get to it.
So the first thing, so I made this thing,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? A little commemorative plaque for
Yeah.
the first
To join in the show.
the first show.
I love it.
Hulu.
And I thought so. It's just like acrylic, which is engraved on one side.
It actually looks great on the black.
Yeah, that's what I
That's
said.
what we're saying,
I thought it was supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great together.
Just do that. I think it's perfect.
You just put 4 holes in it and then put a ramen in there.
Yeah. So the whole reason why I was doing something, a guy that I know was asking me to quote something. I do this kind of stuff. This is not exactly the stuff for work. Asked me if I could do a version of that for the 9/11 hijackers.
Okay. For them.
In commemoration?
Bold choice.
Are you building a
Stayed-
time machine?
Stayed in a hotel in Laurel.
Yes.
Called
Right here in
Valencia.
Maryland. Yep.
And when that hotel was renovated, they saved the door to the room that they lived in for a couple of months.
Yeah.
I believe door
343, if I recall.
Yep. So this group that I know this guy in is taking that door, and they wanted to encase it in acrylic to preserve it, and they wanted something engraved on the acrylic, just kind of signifying stuff of 9/11. So he asked me, he said, "Hey, can you do this?" And I said, "Well, in theory I can, but I have to play around with the engraving and figure out the speed of the bits and which bit and everything." So when I was thinking about like what could I engrave to test and do all this stuff, I just decided I was like, well, I can at least make something
Yeah.
cool. out
Phase
of it.
4.
Instead of just putting
Or
like,
phase 5, whatever the fuck we're on.
instead of just putting like A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then
Yeah.
playing with fonts and everything. So
I have always struggled with engraving acrylic. I bought
Because they
a
melt
laser
and stuff. Yeah,
to
it's
the
hard.
point where it messing with the feeds and speeds. I was like, how much melting am I going to do? How many times do I have to get the heat gun out to clean this?
Yeah, so-
this mill off.
this one is the first one, and this is the second one. So it wasn't too bad from the first two.
You just volunteered yourself for a project. I need a little piece of acrylic cut. So.
Okay. So that's that. I watched Nosferatu.
Oh, did you?
Mustache show.
Yeah, Mustacheratu.
So I'll just read my. So I was taking notes as I was watching.
So, real quick, you guys know I love Joe Budden, right?
I've heard.
So I love his music and I love his opinions on music.
Do you like
and
his
that's-
commercials for sports gambling?
No, I love his music and I love his opinions on music, and that's the end of it. But he recently got himself in trouble for sleepwalking in an apartment building. And I'm just putting quotation
This
marks.
seems like a bit.
Quotation marks on sleepwalking. That's the
Allegedly?
claim. Allegedly sleepwalking, and knocked on these people's door who were complaining of his residency in that apartment building, and knocked on their door naked. And they filed like sexual harassment things on him and everything else. And he's like, is he sleepwalking? There's video of it. You can see him sleepwalking, like blah, blah, blah was his thing. But somebody tweeted at him and called him like, said, stop, because he made a comment about him. And he's like, stop worrying about me and start worrying about your sleepwalking. You're the Newport Nosferatu. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So like I said, I was taking notes as I was watching it. So the ending, I just said it was good. Weird women shame theme.
Yeah, to an extent, and I think it's especially weird today when you kind of expect for the female lead role to be like a woman of power, not necessarily of power society wise, but like can fight or can shoot or something.
A strong character.
And this is like the first female lead that's a victim. Really, I mean, she is the one that lays down the trap that ultimately she sacrifices herself. Ultimately, she's almost like more of a Christ-like character.
Yeah, but it was just that weird like I called out for comfort. And it was all like a weird sexual nature behind it that I thought was odd to get in 24.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like even though like the story is, it didn't get thought of in 2020.
No,
Yeah, it's an older. I mean, it takes place in an older,
But I kind of expected it to be
older time period too.
Newer themed. I mean, if the Pope's going to be a hermaphrodite, then we can not make some woman masturbating to be like, that's my shame, and it ends up killing everybody and whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was like, I think it's a beautiful, like it's shot beautifully.
Oh,
and
sure, yeah.
acted extremely well. I just don't like the mustache.
The next note I have in here is a horny little bugger, isn't he?
Well, that's Dracula though, isn't it?
But like,
Somebody, I think it was Mr. Sunday Movies, like went into this whole thing about calling it just Bram Stoker's Dracula, just horny Dracula. He doesn't refer to that Dracula as Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's just horny Dracula.
ending was weird. Like trying to, like the book where they're reading the exact way that he dies. Like you think that if it's written down that he would know that it was coming.
I also, my biggest issue with it is I didn't buy the connection between them.
Yeah, we talked about that before,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's just like, yeah, it's just the whole like, hey, here's how you kill him, and then he walks right into it.
Yeah.
It was just kind of strange.
What?
Yeah, I did not see it.
That's slow talking, huh? Was it slow talking?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, dude.
It was a bit much. And then I said so the story didn't really get good.
Really enjoy prime time glick. Hey, what do you think about that, Christopher?
500.
It was a long setup, but man, was it worth it?
I tell you what.
All these time of you fucking on your fucking puns.
So the last thing I put on that was the story didn't really get good until halfway through, and then I felt like they rushed to the end, which is
What did you think about my idea of if they were luring him to that trap, to like catch him, because like when they destroyed his home, his soil or whatever, and he's with her, and then he would have had to see it, got out, and then like, so she like, I don't know, distracted him, a decoy, and then he like went to get it, and then got burnt up.
yeah.
I think that would have been more
Well,
interesting.
that'd have been a better ending. And
Yeah.
I'm just saying like when they finally got back, which I'm imagining is London.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think they ever.
Or Germany. I think it's Germany. I think this is Germany because they're trying to buy the land in Germany.
Okay.
What did you think of his little Strethiomimus legs?
Oh, strange. Strange. With such a
Bulbous back.
bulbous, fucked up back, and then just like little skipping leg day, motherfucker.
When he walks through the castle by itself, it's just tick, 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 tick.
But yeah, so I really got into the story about halfway through, and then it was just like off to the races, just finish it out. And I thought that was kind of, we could have spent less time in the beginning. And
Yeah, I have a lot of criticism of that movie. I still really enjoyed it, but like it just wasn't what I wanted it.
I'm not sure I would have paid $20 in retrospect to watch it on Prime.
There's a lot of movies I was thinking about though in
But
general.
I was a little bored at like 3:00 in the morning on a Saturday, so I watched it.
Did anyone ever watch the Demeter movie?
The what?
Dumb and Dumber, I saw it.
The Voyage of the Demeter. This is like how Dracula got to America. Like his boat ride, not America, but is it about his boat ride of how he got?
Oh, that's the name of the boat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about the boat ride itself.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it, but that's,
I was interested when I
Yeah,
saw
I
the
was
trailer,
interested
but I
as
don't know
well.
what happened to it.
Yeah.
So then I watched The Creator,
Okay.
I've watched that. You have too, Bobby.
Oh yeah, yeah,
AI.
yes.
It's got
Yes.
Denzel Washington's son is the lead actor.
Yeah.
Yep.
So AI detonated a dirty bomb in LA, and I wrote LA can't get a break. So then
Everything is in LA. Judgment Day was in LA too.
The
and
next
the wildfires, Joey.
the next morning, I'm watching the news, and so now they're complaining about how much rain they're getting. So I wrote, what the fuck is going on there? There's too little rain, too much fire, too much rain. Is the next story going to be there's a fire shortage?
They can't get right over there, but they love it.
It's
They
mudslides.
fucking
Is
love
what
it over
the
there.
rain they're worried about because there's nothing to hold the dirt.
Oh, they love it.
I love it over there too. Got to be honest.
And, yeah.
I love LA.
Yeah,
So-
I
so
didn't think
more-
I thought I was gonna hate it. Loved it.
More on the creator. I have in here. It's like the Vietnam War again, except for now it's Asian people with AI.
Do you see that Chinese robot that I sent to Bobby?
Yeah,
It's pretty damn good.
So yeah, but I saw him go down a flight of steps. Fucked.
Is
Like
it?
because it hit my algorithm, of course,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now I'm seeing this
Now
little
I see it.
fucker everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so, like all that shit you said, me like, and it looked great. Like he's flipping over rocks. He's fucking in the snow.
Yeah,
He's
doing backflips and shit.
Like you could be in a skating rink. I saw this dude go down three steps. Like, and it was like, whoa.
It's only a matter of time.
Looking
for
like
sure.
me going downstairs.
So I thought it was a decent movie. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Oh,
Visually,
give me my rule on here is when I'm here, I need letter grades because I don't understand number grades. Because to
Yeah,
me, 6 out of
because-
6.
because-
Listen.
Man.
6 out of 10 to me sounds decent also, but in his book, 6 out of 10 is a D, which is not a good movie.
yeah. So I go on my pizza scale.
So his scale is
Christ.
closer to yours.
Yeah, so just I think everybody understands letter grades
Yeah.
in the
so,
Western world.
And a side note, I've had this debate with a couple of friends of mine about like when you rate women, right? And I say a 6
which
out-
I surely would never do.
never. Like a 5 out of 10 is not an unattractive.
Yeah,
woman.
it's a
It's an
regular
average woman.
It's an average woman,
But a 5.
No, I
it's
get
not
it.
a C.
I get it.
Okay.
I'm judging it harshly.
right? So I would say a 5 is a C.
I am with you, but because not everyone agrees in the world of how numbers translates to letters,
When this
I prefer the letter grade.
When this idea first came up, it wasn't necessarily displayed the best on Joey's part. It might have been one of those language shortcoming things.
Shortcoming.
Well, you said sometimes you feel like you don't have all the appropriate tools,
Yeah.
Ingredients. But after I got it, I do get it. I do understand it. It does make sense.
Yeah, so better than average.
So C plus.
yeah.
C because
C
we can
plus-
say C is an average, right? C is passing is average.
yeah.
B is
C's-
good.
yeah, C's
and
in
A
the
is
middle.
amazing.
I find the letter grades to be a little, kind of pigeonholed. Like I'm stuck in the. I would, yeah, slightly better than average, but it's not going to be on my. You have to go check this out. Right. Okay, 2-hour time suck.
There you go. It was a fun. I categorize anything like that. I call it a fun romp.
yeah.
You just enjoyed it. It was content. It came and went. You didn't hate it.
the only
you didn't
thing-
you didn't regret the time you spent on it. Maybe
Right.
that's
The only thing that really kind of pissed me off, if you can remember back to the movie, so they're looking for the AI bases, right? And they've got this giant missile thing up in the sky that can shoot missiles down on them. The AI bases look exactly how you'd expect AI bases to be. They're like fucking robot heads on the side of fucking mountains. Like, I'm like, oh, there's the AI base.
For some reason,
Like,
there's
am I,
8
a
fingers
fucking
coming out of it.
5-star general?
you are.
Like I'm, yeah. They're like, oh, where could they possibly be? Like it's the fucking robot head.
It's a giant robot head, yes.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I have on here is this YouTube channel that I've been watching a lot of, called The Theory of Everything. So it's
Sounds like something I'll be into. What is it?
it's like really nerdy shit.
Oh. Right. What is it called?
Theory of Everything.
I watched
Or theories.
or listened to a YouTube video on the way over here about socks, the history of socks.
So this is all like quantum
Let me tell you.
quantum physics stuff.
Oh, is that
This-
well? Socks may actually.
Indian guy?
Yeah.
This
That's
Indian guy?
OCK, yeah.
Also, you get a
Yeah, that's fair.
So he's got like an undergraduate degree in physics and math,
Undergrad.
and
peasant.
he's interviewing
What
like,
an idiot.
Oh, but he's interviewing smart people. Okay.
he's interviewing like the highest of the high in that field. So it's
Oh yeah. This is definitely. This is what like. This is a shit I used to watch Joe Rogan for that he no longer does for
Right.
a long time now.
So it's pretty good. So I put in there, I am eternally fascinated, but always confused. And I'll never understand quite what I'm
This is
listening
what-
to.
What
Yeah, it's
we're
kind
talking
of similar
about.
to the conversation we were talking about.
But,
Hey, on that note, Bobby has a new Apple product in front of us here, and I'm looking at it, and while you're saying this, I don't understand. What does that symbol mean? The one on this option button.
Oh, I don't know.
That's a self.
Why would you ask Bobby?
I don't know
self-destruct.
because it's Apple World.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know why there's a little globe over here on this
But
one.
imagine that could take you home in some capacity. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Maybe that takes you to the World Wide Web.
Maybe.
I've heard of that.
Maybe. No clue.
I heard it's dangerous.
I mean, I barely know how to turn this bitch on.
That's true.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, I got a few things. Nothing really significant. I watched Usual Suspects with my kids. They loved it.
It's a great movie.
It's fucking great.
fucking fantastic.
It's fucking still great. Give me the keys, you cocksucker.
Kaiser Soze.
In English, please. Excuse me. In English. Give me the fucking keys, you fucking cocksucker. What the fuck? It's like my favorite line of the whole fucking movie. That and then and he's like, guys, flip you. Yeah, what? Yeah, flip you for real. I was like, yeah, dude, sounds scary. But that whole bit at the end, it still gives me chills. Like every time, it still works. Like Kevin Spacey walking out of that thing and the fucking foot correcting from cerebral palsy into like the regular gait, and then him like cracking his knuckles from them being all like gnarled up, lighting a cigarette, and then the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making the world believe he didn't exist, and like that. Whew, he was gone. Credits. It's like so perfect.
Spoiler.
And now he's back.
Are there a lot of like real big muscular guys in that movie?
Now he's like bankrupt and
that he's
complaining
forcing
about it.
himself.
They had to get cast somehow.
Wait, I'm straight. Even better.
Right? Last time,
You're not going to be tonight.
wasn't he getting evicted out of his like Baltimore home or some shit like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody wrote in and said something you could cover on Nerd Rage is what it would take for you to swap from Toy World to X Transbots for a combined mode of this Devastator that I just looked at the scrapper recently. From I know it's getting to be a while years before this set gets finished, but something other collection. So for just to answer this question, because it was a YouTube comment, so I just saved it. But please, if you want to send in a question, please.
You can email us at nerdrageradiomail@gmail.com.
Because I just happened to catch it, you know. For me, it's about aesthetics. So like, I don't want a G1 toy looking Devastator because I think he looks fucking ridiculous.
Doofy.
I just don't like the way he looks. So like, I really like the Ox version of Devastator. So it would have to be somebody came out with a better looking Ox version of Devastator that I then thought was worth another $600 to $1,200 to get. And I don't know if that's going to happen.
There's like 3 Devastators like in the process right now.
Yeah,
Of, like, IDW ones.
3 is just you're just scratching the surface.
I mean, we're
There's-
talking about the scale. I mean, the small ones.
Yeah,
and-
there's a fuck ton right now.
Yeah.
There's, the IDW one. There's
2 different IDW ones,
There's
I think.
it's like if the movie verse was G1 one. Then there's the Fans Toys one, the X Transbots one.
I'm not even talking about those. 'Cause,
You know, like-
that's the mainliners.
Yeah. So there's a fuck ton.
A new Hasbro one coming.
I like
Yep,
the
the
one
new
that's
Hasbro one coming.
I like the one that you can switch out the chest with a prow. That's
Yeah,
cool.
the hook.
Yeah,
and he can become the leg.
yeah, like that. I mean, that's
it's fucking great.
I love the IDW stuff.
I'm happy to share those with you as they come in and as they're completed. So
Yeah,
you can-
absolutely. So, anyway, that's what it would take for me. I don't want a G1 Devastator. Let's see what else. So the other thing, 2 things. So I watched 2 more episodes of Secret Level. I talked to Joey about this already, but I watched Pac-Man, which is awful. Complete waste of my fucking time. Even though it was 8 minutes, I was still pissed off. And then Mega Man, which I love.
It was
I found
so
it
hard.
It was completely
Yeah.
endearing.
Yes.
Like made me want to like look at the characters online or something. Like it was like a good feeling, good vibes, good nostalgic vibes.
I actually forgot. I watched the first 2 episodes of that. Have no idea what they're about, but they were fun to watch.
Yes.
Like I don't
there's a
even
lot of
know
games
what
that aren't
game it's
popular.
from. And
Yeah.
First one I think is Dungeons and Dragons.
First one. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
That's the only other one I want to watch.
And I gave a recommendation of 3. I would say if you were going to watch 3, I put a
Yeah.
recommendation in our chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch all of them. Just have to get to them.
And then the last thing, just real quick, that I've been doing this week is speaking of photos. Is I've been working on this photo album project. I've talked about it like last year, at the top of last year, where I'm compiling these old leather-bound books of photo albums that are like documented for years. So like, anyway, I finished 2 over the past weekend, and where I'm getting them done has like a code every once in a while they offer where it's like, because they're expensive as fuck because they're leather and everything else, but at us that you get like there's a code that they offer as like a promotional code every now and then where like after 20 pages, the rest of the pages are free or something like that. So they were offering it. So I was like, fuck, let's fucking finish these. So I finished 2, which make up 2023 Volume 1 and 2023 Volume 2. But they're done. I'm waiting for them to come in. I'm excited for them because they're like, it's like the whole year. And it's like, it's very like, there's all the family shit and adventures and all sorts of food shit, all sorts of geek shit, even stuff like screenshots of text messages that were just fucking, significant or whatever. Like, it's like this little documentation of the year.
Bobby's scrapbooking.
Yeah, Bobby's
scrapbook face. Bobby's scrapbook face.
Yes, Bobby's scrapbook.
You hear that, Robert D? Get busy.
Wait to the AI.
Here comes the AI.
You want me to go ahead and just send it to him?
Yeah. So then that takes us right into the notes. I had the conclave note, but we opened with that. So a super teaser. We got another Superman teaser.
How do you like that dog?
We've seen.
Love that dog. Hey, look at that dog.
I do. Dogs. I hate mine, but I love the rest of them.
I'll give you. I have one coworker that we only talk online every once in a while, but he's a huge Superman fan. So I was like, "What'd you think of the trailer?" He's like, "Love seeing Crypto." It's the first thing he said.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Did you get to see him fly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, people are like chewing it up about being bad visual effects.
Is it?
I don't think so.
I didn't notice it. I mean, I was watching it on my phone, but
yeah, I thought
most people were.
I thought it looked great, and then the dude James Gunn actually, who I'm not like I'm not like a James Gunn fan,
right?
But like like they were shitting on it. This one guy was like, I guess not shitting on it, but being like, well, but I understand it's digital and you can clean it up before post or whatever, but blah, blah, blah. And he's like, nope, nothing about that is digital other than the composite. So it's like I guess they got him suspended and they're just blowing a fucking fan in his face, and then they're moving the camera through the backdrop might be digital. I'm not sure.
I want to see a Superman flying where his face is just like flapping all over the place.
Yeah.
So I watched the trailer earlier today when you sent it, and I had a random thought.
I love those. That's my favorite.
So I thought, is Superman a super recognizer?
So you think he can recognize everybody?
No, do you think he is?
How do you mean?
So he's going to outlive us all, right? But that means he's going to see the little girl that he saved. There's a possibility he'll see her in 30 years, right? Mm-hmm. So if he recognizes her and she's doing some dumb shit now, do you think he ever
this is what I saved you for?
God damn it, I fucked that one up.
I saw this meme also of him like saving that girl, and he grabs the top of her head
and just snapping her
neck, like snapping her neck to pieces.
Because at those speeds, like the suspension of disbelief.
What do you think about Joe? What do you think Joe Biden thought of that scene? Getting that little girl's head so close.
Giving her a snip.
But that's one of the things I loved about that scene in the Snyder Cut of the Flash, how he was like moving her like ever so slowly and gently to make sure he didn't hurt her.
Yeah, I thought I should just crumble.
Yeah, so smart. Alien Earth.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited.
Yep, same.
So let me tell you something. So I watched this. And at first I was like, this looks dumb. I was like, it looks like another alien loose on a ship. And I was like, and it fucking looks like a video game, like a first person shooter, but you're playing the alien. And then when it hit the window and it backed out and the ship was headed for Earth, I was like, oh, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. That's what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it's going to follow the books at all, or is it just like
I hope it does. But
I don't care either way. I'm just wondering.
I don't think it has the expanse to do it. Like, I don't know if it'll have like the range to do it, but I hope it does.
Yeah.
Any other hot takes on that? If not,
no, I'm just excited for anything in that franchise, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it seems to be a lot of things are having a good resurgence, right? Like a lot of these old school franchise,
Moana 2,
Moana 3, but live action Moana.
I think the top 5 movies last year were sequels.
But a lot of these like legacy franchises have had a lot of shit, but they're still around because we love them as they were. But some of them are coming back, like Hellraiser. That was a while ago. Predator, now Alien, the recent one. I like Predator.
There's been some misses in the Predator.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
there's been some misses in the
they're like some of these franchises were great in the 80s and then have a bunch of fucking misses in the 90s to 2000s. And now recently they're either having reboots or sequels that are bringing them back up to par of being good again. So I just like a Terminator Genesis, it's an animation, but like a good Terminator after a long time of not having good Terminators. So
And I think part of that may lie in like, look, they're always gonna pull. There's so much to pull from now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like I can take, this really worked here in this franchise, not just in storytelling.
And the effects are so easily accessible.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see legacy franchises doing well again. I would love to see like RoboCop again.
Now, we talked on this briefly last week, but I did include in the notes this week that Alto Knights
Yeah.
trailer.
That looks good, man.
I'm in.
It looks good. It seems like an intriguing story as well as just being a gangster movie.
Yeah, and I love that he's playing both the roles.
Yeah. I'm a
That's
little
an interesting thing.
Nutty Professor.
Yeah,
Almost.
but imagine if he was playing both lead roles. That's what I'm anxious to kind of see how they pull off.
Yeah, it looks interesting for sure.
Yeah. And then the not so nice pool drama. We've kind of covered this already a bit.
I started reading that article and I was like, shut the fuck.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I am curious as to see where it goes because it's just like it's one of those I guess two wrongs don't make a right kind of things. I don't know.
Well, and here's the thing about it. Like, I had no clue there was context to that character. I just thought it was him making fun of himself,
Same.
and saying that about his wife, because that's his wife.
Same.
And it's like, oh, it's funny because it's his wife. Not knowing any of this stuff was digs, And in the majority of that, other than the guy's lines itself, that was all done in post because they're all masked up anyway. So that could have been something they did at the very end once that stuff had kind of come to light.
I agree.
Yeah, it's kind of who cares kind of thing.
Yeah.
IMO.
Except for if there was actual sexual harassment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, obviously that
Yeah.
matters.
So then moving on to questions. So Marshall W writes in, yo, hey guys, I hope you are all well. Just curious what you think became of the season 1 and 2 Autobots you never saw in season 3.
I thought they all died.
Are they dead or elsewhere? They're dead in my opinion.
Yeah. If you don't see them, they're dead.
Yeah.
Where else would they be?
How did they die in a children's cartoon?
In the battle on Autobot City, but they just weren't on screen.
Oh, so okay,
got
I see.
shot.
So it's people who understand.
Yeah.
Well, we saw a good handful of them get killed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the ones you
Megatron
didn't-
figured out how to shoot his gun or something. Yeah,
Or learn how to make the bullets count.
that's it.
Todd R. Hello, NRR crew.
Oh, God. I'm
You're in a
scared.
very public place. You feel an intense itch deep within the walls of your asshole.
Oh, it's been there, done that.
How do you... Joey has one every episode. That's why he wobbles
Yep.
back and forth. How do you discreetly handle this? So I actually do use the Joey method. And I just sort of shimmy from
Shimmy
side to
around.
side.
It's just a little shimmy, shimmy, shake. I'm not digging in.
No,
I might find a corner and bend over to tie my shoes and kill some birds with some stones.
Go to the bathroom and wipe your ass, because that's,
That's
usually
also
what it
true.
is. Usually your asshole itches because it's like
Hey.
shit juice in there.
Bidet.
Literally, that's like 100%.
Listen, guys.
Like 99% of the time, that's what it is.
You can get a bidet on Amazon for $30.
Sometimes, man, you just have a sweaty ass crack
I
and
know
some
you
juice
do.
comes out.
Or anal leakage.
Or,
Anal
or
leakage.
you've been eating those Olestra
Or you
chips.
drink nothing but fucking Diet Mountain Dew.
Well, that's fair.
And protein
Yeah,
mixed with
protein
coffee.
shake. Mixed with coffee. So like you just gotta go to the bathroom and wipe your fucking ass.
Yeah.
Asshole.
Go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, that's... you got one, Farrell?
Am I wrong though? Have you all not had an ass itch? You go to the bathroom, you wipe your ass,
Yeah,
and it's just
wipe-
like fucking
Of course.
wet brown shit in there?
Yeah.
okay.
For me, it's normally blood.
You need to get that scene about.
So, Willie Whammo writes in.
Willie.
And says, howdy, NRR crew. 'Tis I, the William of Whammo. This video feels like it was made for Nerd Rage. Please enjoy. I haven't looked at it, I'll be honest with you. Let's take a look real quick.
Moving different. This shit ain't nothing to me, man.
Dracula Flow 3. To pick up that classic another day, Will. Unfortunately, I'm going to start giving out some hard thinkers every time I write in. Like last time, Skiff Lando had no point in Jabba's palace. This time, how do blind people know when to stop wiping?
Oh, well, that kind of ties
Yeah.
in.
Love the show. Great to listen to while playing Xbox. Please keep it up. Much appreciated.
Do you think, okay, maybe you can't see, right? So you're wiping, and then you take a sniff maybe.
No.
You wipe, and you take
No.
a sniff to see
That's
you
not the
smelling
answer.
shit.
That's not the answer.
That's crazy.
Well, you have to use one of your senses to detect whether there's shit on
So
the paper left.
I think you can pick up on a tactile level.
I don't know, man. Sometimes those you wipe like 24 times and there's still like some juice
but,
in there.
Yeah, but I think you can get close enough, or if you get the itching a little bit, you weren't quite close enough. But
Do we have
think-
any blind listeners? Please let us know
Yes,
how you wipe
please.
your ass.
Do we think this is in the top 3 of like concerns for the blind community?
I mean, they have to be taught. It has to be a concern, right? They have to be taught how to.
I'm going to say not top 3.
You don't think it's one of the things they have to be taught?
No, like walking into
Traffic
the street.
is probably the
That's
first one.
probably.
But I mean, it's a day-to-day affair. Hopefully, if you're a regular,
Right. I'm just saying, like, we don't. As a blind person, you wouldn't know what color your underwear was, let alone if you had a skid mark.
Right, but you don't want a dirty ass.
Yeah,
Like,
and you don't want the discomfort.
Right. So
Of the
I
itchy
think at
ass.
that point, it's all just how it feels.
Yeah, I think it's a tactile thing, and I think even
Really?
that's
Sometimes
all
you
that
can wipe
matters.
once and it's fine. Sometimes you can wipe 5 times and it's not fine.
Maybe they just go like 5 times and we just call it good.
or maybe they're really like particular about like what they eat, so that it's a cleaner process altogether.
Or just get like utensils. They should all have a bidet.
Well, I deny
Then you get
yourself
to
that
go.
too. I guess.
Just,
Hard
just
enough.
wash your ass.
But yeah, if we have any blind listeners, let us know. Better
Boy,
chance of
there's
that than deaf listeners.
There's a
am I
very
right?
old Reddit thread about this that I'm not going to read. Ooh,
Really?
yeah. It gets in the weeds,
So to speak.
Yeah.
so to speak.
Ryan C writes in, "Howdy Ragers. Let's see. I believe that the shit Walmart that we would recognize is either Ollie's or if you're from North, Big Lots. Bobby, I have the same issues with video games that you do. Having both a PS4 and a Switch, I can't tell you how many times I have had 45 minutes to spend playing a game just to sit down and have the fucking thing need updates to even be able to play my offline games. Annoying as hell, but I can't hit the racetrack or go shooting as often as I'd like. So don't do both. So it is the closest thing I can get to fill the lack of fun I have day to day. I always have preferred cheese and saltine crackers or ants on a log when I was younger. What are ants on a log?
So that's a
That's
piece of
celery.
celery, peanut butter, and raisins in the peanut butter.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
great.
Raisins, get them. Look, let me tell you something. Other than those motherfuckers that sing and dance from California, I got no fucking time for a raisin.
Raisins are great.
Doesn't he drink wine?
It's raisin juice, bro. Actually, the raisins are what's left after you motherfuckers
Drain
make your
it.
wine.
You don't like what's the Raisin Bran? You know Raisin Bran?
No.
You know,
Raisin
one of-
Bran's crazy.
One of my
Raisin Bran
favorite
Crunch is awesome.
One of my favorite scenes from Entourage is when the brother kind of makes it, and he has I think Turtle go. He's like, I want 2 cups of raisins from Raisin Bran. He wants those because they have sugar on them. You don't like raisins?
No, I hate a raisin.
What about a prune?
No, I've never had one, but now I
Raisins are better
understand.
than
Oh, don't
prunes.
worry, your day comes.
I understand that raisins are indeed nature's candy, but I'm just not necessarily interested in them.
He's like, fuck Sunmaid.
I don't even like the little box that come. I don't like anything about the process.
I really like the little box.
Yeah. I don't care for it. I don't care for it.
So let's just
Cats,
say.
like Altoids, tiny containers are awesome.
So who in your neighborhoods growing up for Halloween was giving out raisins, and how many eggs did you throw at their house?
I can't remember. We did get some from time to time for sure. But like the thing is like peanut butter though on celery is fantastic. Peanut butter on
anything.
peanut butter
It's
on anything.
really almost on anything, isn't it? Like
Not almost, like on everything.
so I haven't had it on everything, so I can't say for sure. But like one day I was somewhere and I was eating some peanut butter, and Scotty, who Farrell knows, walked past me and was like, "Hey man," and I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Try that shit on a carrot." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Sounds crazy, but you're going to dig it." And sure enough, I tried it on a carrot and it was delicious.
it's good on everything.
Yeah, I've yet to put it on something and be like, wrong choice. You know, I do love some peanut butter.
Rum raisin is great ice cream.
Have a great day and
Try it
lickable,
on some.
And what?
lickable lips.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
What kind of lips?
Either.
Two lips.
So then we get a long write-in from Astartes Pete. Now, Astartes Pete did make a comment on Nerd Rage last week of saying like, but the Switch does need to update sometimes, like blah blah blah.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah. So anyway, I just want to respond to Astartes Pete, who I love dearly, but I want to tell him that like mine doesn't need to, because I only have 3 games for that bitch, and they're both from like the same year I bought the fucking Switch from.
So I mean, if you don't connect it to the Wi-Fi,
So that's what Billing said. And
Just
that's
play
yeah,
like
that's,
that.
yeah.
Put it in airplane mode.
Yeah. Anyway, he said, "Hello, lovely boys. Hope he's British. Hope you're all well. My last dad joke only got 1 honk. Can this do better? My wife was complaining her phone wouldn't work in the car, so I had a look and deleted all the German names for it. It's Hans Free again." Real question: When is fan?
Don't shake your fucking head, Pinkerton.
When is fan service too much?
Never.
I finally. I finally got round to watching Alien Romulus, which I thought was great, but with a garbage ending. It's full of Easter eggs and nods to the franchise, some better than others. I like mine subtle, e.g. Rock being a chess piece the same as Bishop.
Rook.
Rook. I'm sorry, you're right. Rook being
You got rock on your mind, Bobby.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Finally. You need to add that.
But there's a scene where Android Andy says, "Get away from her, you bitch," and it really took me out of the film.
Yeah.
This is, of course, Ellen Ripley's iconic line from Aliens, of course. It felt terribly shoehorned. It was egregious, and frankly, he doesn't have the right or the balls to say it. What are your thoughts? So I'm trying to think of when it's too much, because I do think that it exists. Let me tell you what's the right pocket. Deadpool versus Wolverine. That is the right pocket of fan service. Let me tell you what the very edge is, so to speak, of acceptability. The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens is right on the precipice.
Words are hard today.
Yeah, I should know Chinese. They're right on the precipice of going too far with fan service. And I think about Force Awakens a lot. Because
what?
Yeah, because I like it, but I do think it makes a number of errors in the name of fan service. So you get this new bad guy army, but it just looks and feels like the Empire. So you're not doing anything new. You get new troopers, but they just look like stormtroopers. So you're not really doing anything new.
With a paint job.
Like an Apple upgrade.
Yeah, it's a minor paint job.
Right.
You know, and then they get into a ship, which is just a fucking TIE fighter. And then they're fought by the Resistance, which just uses fucking X-Wings. And it's like, these are all circumstances where they had an opportunity to design new ships, characters, looks, armies, troopers, etc., and start to give this world a new look and feel as the 30 years or 20 years, whatever it's supposed to be, time has moved on. But it's still okay because it feels right, and it introduces a cast of new characters that I'm interested in, and I want to see how they progress, right? But it is standing, like its toes are curled over the edge of what to me is unacceptable in terms of fan service.
What them nails look like? Are they scraping? No, I'm not talking about yours, bro.
I just cut mine.
On that subject of the sequel trilogy, there's a YouTube channel I watch, Screen Crush. They do they're the 28 things you missed, guys. But they also do a lot of retrospectives, and they put out a video last week, and I meant to send it to you. It's a 30-minute video, but it is basically explaining from their perspective why the sequel trilogy makes sense from the point of view of the people who made it as fans, and it goes in
Interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting, and it's a little out there concept, but like these movies were made by, like, the original trilogy, they made all that shit up. They made it up as they went, or they wrote it as they went.
Yeah.
This was based. It's kind of like we were talking about these movies, the sequels getting better and remakes getting better because there's so much to pull from.
Right.
And I think good and bad, that's what that was. And they go into a lot more detail in this, obviously, in this 30-minute video. But I'll send it to you. I think it's worth a watch, or listen, rather.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting. I'm like, I think Bobby might buy into some of this concept. I'll send it to you right now. I'm thinking about
Please.
I'll send it to the chat.
But like the other thing is, like, so you compare it conversely to the prequel trilogy, right? You get two whole new, for the most part, there's more of a difference between the Clone Troopers V1 and the Stormtroopers than there are between the Stormtroopers and the First Order troopers, right? Then you get this battle droid army, which are goofy, but there's a totally different look and aesthetic and feel.
What about the Gungan army?
The Gungan army as well. Or as George Lucas called them, the Googans. But then there's also this, like, the ships in episode 1, there's like yellow starfighters. They're fucking cool, and they have their own identity, and they have the droid fighters, which are like the two like pitchfork things. They're like they hearken to the TIE fighter a bit, but
the TIE fighter came from them.
But they're definitely their own identity.
Yeah.
You know, and then the second one kind of flounders a bit until the end, where then you get the clone, like, ships, the drop ships, and then it's like, okay, this is cool and different and like vastly different. And then episode 3, I actually think, has some of the more iconic ships. I think that's because they relate more to the original trilogy ships, but they still have their own identity, you know. And I think that the prequel trilogy stands on its own, and it's own identity more than the sequel trilogy, and I think some of that is because of the design choices that were made at the very beginning. You know, of it just all being a bit too similar. Isn't that what you think, Pinkerton, when you think about it?
Absolutely not. Actually, I watched about half of episode 1 this week when Cody was over. I don't remember why we did. I
They
think
got
we
a separatist army with the separatist ships all different.
Yeah, and looking at it, like, you look at the resources that were available. And I watch Generation Tech sometimes.
Yeah.
And Lord knows he gets into the
The Asian guy.
has nothing to do with it.
I like him already.
Well, I don't know about his opinion, but no. He gets into the finances, and it's. I think you told Joey one time, "Don't go too deep," because it kind of all falls apart. But,
Yeah,
and just like your toes on the ledge, I think this guy keeps it, right there,
A little bit grounded.
But just thinking about financially, like, the money they spent to develop this stuff wasn't necessarily there for the sequel. So yeah, you do have a lot of the same ships. Or
Yeah.
there wasn't a war on, so there's no reason to build new ships. They just have these ships. They decommission the army or the army. So there's not there's no reason for of course
the New Republic.
to be cranking out ships.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, at the end of 9, it's just like 3,000 like fucking regular Star Destroyers or some shit like that, right?
I don't even know.
It came
Well,
from
I'm
nowhere.
not talking about the coming from the darkness.
But I even think there's a more interesting story in the groundwork there between the New Republic and the Resistance.
Yeah.
More so than either one with the First Order. There was a lot of interesting ideas in that sequel trilogy that I feel like they really they cast it out on a too long of a line.
I mean, that was one of the things I was thinking about when we were watching Dune, is that, like, there's basically no change in technology in 10,000 years. What you see in Dune the movies and Dune the TV show was 10,000 years apart, and there's like no advancements, it seems like, at all.
Yeah, but that's like purposeful, right? Like, because like they hate machines and shit.
Well, they can't have AI,
Right.
But it doesn't mean like technology
I mean,
itself can't change.
you think about it,
Bloody
They, like-
slippery slope, though, isn't it?
like the Acolyte, everyone's favorite. It was set how many thousand years before, or not hundreds and hundreds. There's no, you look at our civilization in the past 500 years, we've gone from fighting with spears and swords and arrows to fucking,
Drones.
nuking each other with drones across, 200,000 miles or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's just, you're right. It's like none of it makes sense. Like, why is there not? Why are we not seeing these people in caves with sticks versus witches with magic? And
They say the truth
Traveling,
is stranger than fiction sometimes.
Sometimes.
With that being said, we can wrap up. Trying to think. Shout out to Phil. Phil, I'm sorry if I hurt you. Let me close with this too. So I sent this lashing.
Why was he so bothered?
So I think. And like I said, I may be misreading the text. I'm not good at text conversations. That's why I try to keep them very simple and short. But I think I think sometimes my opinions can feel abrasive,
Sure.
and I think sometimes people can personalize them as if I'm talking at them instead of to them.
Yeah, but so your opinion about a movie, not your
Yes,
opinion about him,
but it was
right?
but it was his. He recommended it. He loved it.
Oh, okay.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah, but you got to know when you recommend something to somebody.
Yeah, it can go either way.
especially to Bobby.
It can go-
Especially
it
to
can
Bobby.
go either
Shit
way.
on you.
It can go either way. It can go either way. But what's funny, him and I actually have almost identical opinions on Nosferatu, which line up pretty close to yours as well. So Phil, don't take it personal, buddy. Be all right. He sent me a thumbs up.
Don't
I was
take
like,
it
what is that? That's a little salty thumbs up, Phil. that you licked that thumb and put it in the salt and then sent that motherfucker through the text. I hear you. I'm with you. Anyway. So with that being said, shout out to Phil on our notes and on Twitter. Shout out to Dante on Facebook. And is there anything you'd like to say before we get out of here, Chris Pinkerton? If you're nasty.
Nope. I think I'm good. Appreciate it. I appreciate the chance to speak. My new goal is just to no sell that.
And with that,
Flappy Labius.
Moist thighs.
Tasty take.
tight dick player.